Good day, everyone. I'd like to extend a warm welcome and thank you for registering and joining us for this training. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. The world is facing challenging times and we find ourselves trying to manage with the situation at hand. We hope that you and your families are all safe and remain safe. Many of us are trying to adapt to working from home, and we know that that can be quite challenging. So we decided to host these webinars to reach out to our customers and support them in their efforts to continue with their research. I'd like to introduce you to today's presenters. We have Eric A. Amaful, a Mendeley advisor from the University of Ghana, as well as Lucia Scumbi, who is the Research Intelligence Consultant for part of Africa at Elsevier. Eric will be taking us through the Mendeley training, and Lucia will take us through the Researcher Academy and Scopus training. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping rules. Please keep yourself on mute. Kindly pass any questions you have in the Q&A box only. So a lot of you are already posting your questions in the chat facility. I'll please ask you to use the Q&A facility because this is being monitored by our panelists who will be able to answer your questions. The presentations from this webinar will be shared with you on the Researcher Academy. To obtain the certificate for this course, you would have needed to register for it. The certificate for this course will be downloadable from the Researcher Academy website after the training has concluded. In order to download the certificate, you will need a workshop code. This workshop code will be given to you at the end of the training by Lucia Scumbi. So please stay until the end of the training. Take note of the workshop code because this is how you'll be able to download your certificate. Please accordingly wait till the end to receive the webinar code. And to be fair to those who attended, we will not be providing the code outside of the webinar. I must stress this point. We get a lot of these questions after the webinar, so please stay until the end and receive the code. The agenda for today will consist of 3 parts: the introduction to Mendeley, part 2, the Researcher Academy, and part 3, introduction to Scopus. I'm now going to hand you over to Eric, who is going to share his presentation on Mendeley. Eric, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Eric, thanks a lot. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can begin sharing yours.
Okay.
I can see your screen now, Eric. You can proceed.
Okay.
Yes, we're ready.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's webinar. This first session, as Denise said, is going to be on managing your research using the Mendeley Reference Manager. My name is Eric Amponsa Mwafo. I work with the University of Ghana. I am a Mendeley advisor and also a certified Mendeley librarian, meaning that I've taken the Mendeley course. All right. Now, in this session, we are going to be looking at what Mendeley is, Mendeley as an academic social network, Mendeley as a reference manager, and then we also look at some of my personal favorite features in Mendeley. Okay. So what is Mendeley? So Mendeley is one of the leading reference management softwares owned by Elsevier. It helps you to find, organize, and back up your research documents and references. It also helps you to discover new research by suggesting related articles to you. It advances academic social network and promotes researcher visibility. It also enhances the writing process by fast-tracking the site as you write process. You can run Mendeley on your computer or laptop or your mobile phone, tablet, and also access it from any modern device. How does Mendeley help? Someone may ask. Now, Mendeley first and foremost serves as a repository for your documents and reference information. It allows you to add papers to your library by importing PDF files stored on your computer or by retrieving them from online catalogs such as ScienceDirect, Scopus, PubMed, etc. You can also create entries for items that you do not have access to, such as hard copy materials that you may have borrowed in the library, content that you take from website pages, videos that you may have quoted from in your work, and so on, by manually entering the necessary bibliographic information that you need for citing the same source. Materials you add to your library are then stored in the Mendeley cloud for you to retrieve wherever you need them. Mendeley allows you to retrieve the same resources with the same enhancement and annotation on all your devices, meaning that if you make any annotations in any document whilst researching, you can access the same enhancements on any other device wherever you find yourself. In short, we can say that Mendeley brings flexibility and mobility to your research process. Mendeley as an academic social network. Mendeley serves as an academic social network through such features as private and public groups, researcher profiling, finding and following groups and experts, and the sharing of your publications. That's your own papers. It helps you to make available your own publication for the world and your followers to see. It does this by helping you or allowing you to share materials of interest with other Mendeley users, either in your group, and also to collaborate directly on a particular paper with colleagues and or a project. To do this, you will have to create a Mendeley group. Now you can create a Mendeley group at any time in your work by using the create group option that you can find on the left panel of your Mendeley desktop screen. Mendeley offers three types of groups. The first one is the open or public groups. These groups are, these groups are visible and accessible anywhere and by anybody. They will be listed in the groups directly on Mendeley's website. Members can add references to the group, but only the reference details will be added, meaning that you cannot share full source documents in a public group. Invite-only group, I will say, is mostly created by experts or anyone who have something to share. In this case, the owner of the group will have to invite you before you can join in. And then we have the private group. The private group is where individuals or groups of researchers in a subscribing institution and students can create a group for which they can share the full source documents and annotations to enhance their research. So that's an interface of a private group. You can see, let me pick my pointer, just a second. Okay, so you can see from here, these are some annotations that have been made in this PDF that the group member is sharing. Okay. Now that's an interface of a public group that you can also browse, find, and follow. Now, again, is what you call the research profile. So as you can see on the screen, when you create your own profile as a researcher or a user of Mendeley, you are able to enter information about you, and then many people are able to see you and follow you. When you do this, you receive personal statistics on how your work is used or is doing, promote your work and interest for a global audience, you share your work with other researchers, and so forth. Now you are also able to find and follow other users of interest. As you can see, this is a screenshot from my Mendeley account. So these are some individuals who are following me and others that I also follow, as you can see. Now let's look at Mendeley briefly as a reference manager. So to use Mendeley as a reference manager, first and foremost, you need to create an account. If you don't have one yet, you can do this by getting to www.mendeley.com, and then you simply click on create free account. Now I must add that besides this, Mendeley also does have an institutional account that you can also belong to. So after clicking, you are presented with this interface. Excuse me. You're presented with this interface and you are able to create your account. To do this, you enter your email address. Now, if you are with a subscribing institution, it is advised that you enter your institutional email to do this. Now, Mendeley offers you two interfaces to work with. The first is the web, the Mendeley, what we call Mendeley Web. Now, Mendeley Web enables you to manage your account online in Mendeley's cloud, enables you to attract content from the websites or databases into your account directly without having to download them onto your desktop. And then you also have the Mendeley desktop, which is your companion in your direct companion in the research process, meaning that once you write, you download, you cite and reference, this is where you work with the Mendeley desktop. So after installing the Mendeley desktop app, you need to log in with the email and password that you use to create the Mendeley web account. This ensures that both interfaces are synchronized, that any changes you make will be carried across all your devices when you log in and use the software. Now, how does this help? Mendeley helps you to build a library. Unlike when you are working where you may have some files on your pen drive, some on your home computer, some on the office computer, with Mendeley, you are able to build a library, in which case you have access to every single resource wherever you may find yourself and on whichever device that you may be ready to work with at any point. So as you can see on the screen, you start by building the library by adding content to your account. So in doing this, you can see under File, when you click on File, you see Add Files, Add Folder, Watch Folder, and Add Entry manually. So when you click on Add Files, it enables you to select individual files that you want to add to your account. The difference between that and Watch Folder and Add Folder, is that Add Folder enables you to extract the content or the content of a folder into your account. In this case, it means that the content of the particular folder must be research related or files that you intend to extract. Otherwise, you need to select Add Files so you can select the needed ones. Now, Watch Folder also enables you to create a folder on your desktop and be able to download items into it, by which case the Mendeley system will automatically pick them up into your account and extract the bibliographic details for you. Now, add reference by manual entering details is the option that enables you to create bibliographic details, reference information about manual materials or physical books that you may borrow or buy. And also, if you pick content from a website, or if you maybe took some information from a video, then you have to use add entry manually to create the bibliographic information about the content that you need to cite after you have quoted the source. Now you're also able to extract or attract content from web pages and databases, like I mentioned, by using what is known as Mendeley Web Importer. I think Isaac touched on this the last time, so I will not dwell too much on it. When you do this, when you find an article on a database interface, you are able to capture using the web importer, and then directly without downloading to your desktop, you have them into your Mendeley online account. Once you synchronize, the files get into your account. Now, to make easy your searching, you are also able to search from Mendeley Web Catalog, meaning that as we all create accounts, we enter various articles and resources into Mendeley's catalog. You can start your search from Mendeley Web Catalog by finding references and then tracing to your institutional subscriptions to see if you have the full source documents or not. So once you do this, periodically we advise that you click on synchronize to ensure that, so this is the button, as you can see me hover over it. When you click on sync, you ensure that your resources are all together on Mendeley's web, meaning that you have the advantage of searching for them on any of your devices, wherever you may find yourself and ready to work. Now, how do you organize your library? As I speak, I have about more than 800 articles and ebooks in my account. When you want to find a particular material, how do you do this? Now, one of the features that I like most in organizing files, Isaac touched on the others, is Mendeley folders. As you can see on the screen, Mendeley allows you to create specified folders for particular topics that you are working on. In this case, anytime you find an article, if it's on history, it means that you put it on the history folder. If it's on the economics, you put it directly on that folder, whichever topic you download on, meaning that anytime you need to find them, you move straight into that particular folder, making it easier for you to search, even if you need to type in a search term. Now, cites and referencing. One of the most popular features of Mendeley is its ability to improve the citing process. Mendeley makes it a lot easier to insert popularly formatted citations throughout a paper you are writing and will automatically generate a bibliographic or a reference list for you. It allows you to restyle your references depending on the recipient. So if you work in APA and the journal says that we want Harvard, just with a click of a button, you are able to change your reference styles to the preferred one and submit your content without having to manually type these things. So how do you cite? To be able to use Mendeley to cite, first of all, we need to integrate your Mendeley account into your word processor. So if you are using LibreOffice or Microsoft Office, you need to go to Tools. You can see my pointer is on there. Sorry about the pop-up. And then you click on Install MS Word plugin. Once you do this, Mendeley gets integrated into Microsoft Word. And then in your Microsoft Word, under Reference tab in Microsoft Word, you see these two bars inserted there for you. So if you need to cite, all you need to do is click on Insert, as you can see from here. You click on Insert Citation, and then you get a pop-up dialog box like this. So you can type in your search term. If you know the author's name, you type it in there to search, and then the article will be brought to you to be able to click on. Then you click OK to cite. And then, as you can see also on the interface, this is where you change your reference style. Very easy at one click. So if you need to change, you just click and then you select the appropriate one. And then to populate your reference list, you click on Insert Bibliography. Now you do this only once. My advice is that immediately you start your work after citing or quoting the very first author, I will advise that you create your reference page and then click on Insert Bibliography. What that does is that anytime you cite someone else or any other author, your reference list keep populating automatically as you work on. In that case, you don't finish and be looking at ways to find this document. Now, some also ask, how do you do multiple citation? As you can see on the screen, Mendeley allows you to do this by searching and merging your citation. So if I should, let me go back up. So when you click, you search for multiple, you can search for multiple documents from here. So if you want to cite 2 or 3 authors, when you search the first one, you click on it, you select it as this has been selected, and then you search the second, the third, the fourth, the number, and then you click OK. Once you do this, the system will automatically merge the citation for you. Now, as I said already, once you click on Insert Bibliography, you have your reference list populated down there for you, as you can see. Have some noise from my neighbor. Now let's look at some of my personal favorites in Mendeley, my personal favorite features in Mendeley. Firstly is the PDF viewer, which gives you the opportunity to annotate and highlight information. Now, one of the important reasons why I love this is because it enables you to be able to, at a glance, highlight all the salient points and areas you have interest in at the moment of the particular research, or if you think you may have need of them in the future research. What it means is that you don't come back and read the same document twice. Once you read it once, you are able to see, you know, your research interests and areas. So anything you see that you think you may in future have need of, you highlight them at once. Anytime you come back to it, all you do is scroll through the documents and you find all your areas of highlighting without having to read it more than once. Now, my other interest is Mendeley folders. Now, as you can see, this is a folder that's the interface of my folder from Mendeley, my Mendeley account. Now, as you can see, I have the folder I have selected is DE. Now, DE is distance education. So I have articles in there that border on distance education. So when I meet students who are offering distance programs, all I do is share these files with them. And it also enables me to attract Mendeley suggest articles and forward them into the relevant folders that I have created already. You can see all these that I have created. I forward them, whether I have need for them in the immediate or in the future. It enables you to pre-organize the files that Mendeley suggests for you so that you don't have to go back to a database and search them at a later date. And also one of my favorites is Mendeley groups. As a librarian, I create groups and share with target students. So what you can see here is a group that I created with a name research methods. So what I do is that this group, this group contains documents on research methods. So anytime I meet students who are in their final year project, I share this with them, and then they are able to get access to research method documents, articles, and ebooks that I have to be able to complete their work as a librarian. This is one of the ways that I use to serve my students. And also Mendeley funding is one of the exciting ways by which I always end my presentation. Anytime you mention it, people are always aware of their next funding opportunity and where to find them, and they're always excited to get back to you on it. Now, if you also need to create a presentation, what I have done is an edited form of a pre-created presentation by Mendeley. So all you do is visit the Mendeley community or the advisor community, and you are able to get a pre-created Mendeley presentation. All you do is format them to suit the presentation that you intend to do, and then you go and present with ease. Excuse me. Yeah. So this brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention. I will be standing by for your questions. Thank you. Over to you, Denise.
Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. I'm sure that your university is very proud of you. Thanks a lot for that informative presentation. I'm just going to share my screen for a second, so it will stop your screen for now.
All right.
There is something I just want to share because I've seen a lot of questions in the chat. So for those who want to log technical queries related to Mendeley, like case-by-case situations where perhaps it's not working on your particular laptop or you finding the plugin is not working, whatever it may be, you simply need to go to mendeley.com. If you aren't logged in, you scroll to the bottom of the page and you click on support. Okay? If you are logged in, then you click on this downward facing arrow next to your login name and you click on support, and then you can log support queries. How you do that? It will take you to this page, and if you scroll to the bottom, You have the opportunity to email it to the Mendeley support team or chat with an agent live. So a lot of the questions that's come through are case-by-case situations which need to be logged with our technical team, just so that you know that you have these facilities to escalate your queries to. Okay. Another interesting thing that you will be able to see, I'll just show it to you here. Beside the support option, another quick way of accessing the help guides, right at the bottom of the screen again, under the support heading, you have help guides, citation guides, video tutorials. So these 3 links will take you through to look at presentations and videos on different aspects of Mendeley. So there are some support facilities available to you. Okay, just going to stop sharing now. At this point, I'm going to hand you over to Lucia, who's going to take you through the Researcher Academy introductory training and the Scopus training. Lucia, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, you can start sharing. Okay, we can see your screen.
You can see my screen. Give me a minute. Is my screen fine?
Yes, 100%.
Right. So good morning, everyone. So as Dinesh mentioned, my name is Lucia Scumpi. I'm speaking to you from South Africa this morning. Lovely sunny day in Stellenbosch. I've been with Elsevier for about 6 years, actually 6 years within give and take 2 days. And my role is to support researchers, and my specific interest is in terms of research evaluation. So I'm going to speak to you about Scopus today. I'm also going to speak to you about Researcher Academy. So let me get to my right screen. So before we move over to Scopus, I wanted to introduce you to Researcher Academy, which is a free resource containing e-learning modules developed by science experts. The website to access is www.researcheracademy.com. If you have an existing Elsevier account, you can log on using those credentials. If not, you will be prompted to create an account. And once you have access to Research Academy, you will be able to access the modules about the research process, publishing, career guidance and advice, as well as research news on our blog. So through Research Academy, you will learn from the best in the industry, and you will master essential skills which will help you to advance your career or your studies. And you will also learn to maximize your visibility as a researcher. So whether you're interested in writing a journal article, a book, learning how to conduct peer review for a journal, understanding research, publishing ethics, preparing successful research applications or grant applications, Researcher Academy has resources that will assist you. So because dedicated training really takes a lot of time and effort from your side, we believe that researchers should also be recognized for this. So for every interactive training module or online seminar that you complete, your work will be recognized with an awarded certificate from Elsevier. So moving on to Scopus, in terms of the introduction, I want to we'll have a look at what is the coverage in Scopus. So what information sources can you expect to find in Scopus? And then importantly, why should you use Scopus? So what is unique about Scopus that makes it different from other databases? Then I will follow up with a short demo about how to use Scopus then, and how to find information, how to find an author profile or journal information. And since we are all working remotely, I will finally also share some resources about how to get support, and also how to get access online, and what the subsequent webinars are that you can expect that we will present in future. So In summary, if we look at what is Scopus, the Scopus is a global database for discovering academic literature, and it also includes visualization tools to analyze search results, as well as metrics to measure research performance. It is predominantly subscription-based. More than 4,000 universities across the world are subscribed to Scopus, so you will probably find access to Scopus via your institution. It is also important to note that it is source neutral, meaning that it includes journals from all publishers, and it does not make a distinction between open access publications for which the articles will then be full text in Scopus, or journals which charge a subscription fee. You will also be pleased, for those of you at institutions that are not subscribing to Scopus, you will be pleased to know that there's a free layer as well, where you can access Scopus to find information about your author profile, to check which documents are linked to your author profile, as well as to find information about the journals that are indexed in Scopus. So what is the extent of Scopus? Scopus is one of the largest information databases available. And specifically, it is regarded as one of the most comprehensive databases of peer-reviewed literature in the world. And when we say comprehensive, we refer to the number of items that is in Scopus, but also geographically, the content that is covered. So from across the entire world. It contains almost 80 million items. The most of these items are scientific articles, which have been published by more than 24,000 journals, which are coming from 5,000 publishers, of which Elsevier is one of the publishers. So the content of Elsevier within Scopus represents about 10% of the content. Because of the unique way in which the references and the authors, the affiliations are scoped, are linked within Scopus, it allows you to not only find sources, journals, books, conference proceedings, but it also allows you to find information about authors, profiles of institutions, and profiles of journals. Because of the size of Scopus and the global overview that it has, it really gives you an in-depth look at what is the global publication within a research area. And Scopus, for this reason, Scopus is also used by ranking organizations. So in terms of the journals, all the journals in Scopus that is covered by Scopus are evaluated through a vigorous evaluation process. A part of that process is done by an independent board, and literally thousands of scientific journals exist in the world today. There are more than 100,000 journals, academic journals, and this is growing each year. And of the journals that apply to Scopus, less than a half of them succeed, and we accept them for indexing. And this is to ensure that we make available only high quality journals which apply proper publishing processes, and the journals are also reevaluated every year to ensure that we maintain a high standard year over year. In terms of the scope and the variation of the content in Scopus, you will find more than 40 different languages covered. So in Scopus, you will find different languages, but the abstract will always be in English. It is updated daily. It contains more than 9 million open access documents. It covers journals, conference proceedings, and books, and other types of materials as well, but mainly those. And it is multidisciplinary. So it covers physical sciences, health sciences, social sciences, and life sciences. And you can easily say, so what? So we talk a lot about numbers, how big is Scopus, you know, that it publishes more than 24,000 journals and so on. But what does this really mean for PhD students and researchers? So we'll look at the why. So because Scopus is very comprehensive, the benefit of that is that you won't miss out on important literature. So there's nothing worse that can happen to a researcher than to replicate or to do research that has already been done. So it gives you a very strong overview of global scientific research that has been done. The abstracts are also very useful, and it is unique. Not all databases have abstracts, of course, so it helps you to identify quickly whether a publication is relevant for your specific needs. So it really gives you a lot more efficiency in terms of your work. Peer review ensures that your research, or all the publications in Scopus is peer reviewed, and that really ensures that your research is scholarly, and that the research is scholarly and that it is validated by experts. To have publications peer reviewed or refereed by other experts in the field is part of the scientific process. If this has not been done, it is not regarded as academic or scholarly. So this is a very important factor. And all the documents in Scopus have been peer reviewed. So this really provides you then with a very solid foundation for your own research. Another unique factor, and a very beneficial one, is the fact that citations help you to retrieve the most relevant publications and to distinguish the top ones. So it also helps you to monitor and to keep track of your own performance. So because citations are really considered as endorsements, you can use the citations to lead you to the most important literature in a field, which is like Sir Isaac Newton said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." So you too, it is important to build your research on high standard, good quality research, which you will find through the fact that they are cited, that they are cited, and you can follow the citations. A unique aspect of Scopus is also that it provides you with analysis tools. So you can analyze your search results, not only to find specific individual articles that are relevant for your work, but to see the trend of publication and the patterns within your topic. And all masters and doctoral students will know that it's very important to know what are the trends in your research area, who are the top authors, which are the top journals, and so that you have a very clear understanding of your topic from a global perspective. Next, the fact that all the journals in Scopus are curated allows you to select quality journals to read and to publish in. So publishing in predatory or poor journals can harm your academic career. So I've already mentioned that all the journals in Scopus have been carefully selected, and you can use Scopus to avoid publishing in predatory journals. So predatory journals are those journals which charge an open access fee to researchers to publish their manuscripts, but they don't do the editorial functions such as peer review, plagiarism checking, archiving, etc. So falling prey to predatory publishing can seriously damage your research career. And we also provide metrics such as site score to help researchers and students as yourselves to help evaluate the reputation of journals. And then author profiles are also provided in Scopus. So this allows you to monitor the impact of your own research. Cyber automatically keeps track of publications, the co-authors, affiliations, the citations, the views that your publications get, so that you can use that to demonstrate your own impact and also to evaluate other authors in order to network with other researchers and to make collaborations. So that is a summary of the so what. So what makes Scopus different? Why should you use Scopus? So next I will demonstrate the interface and show you how to get to this information. So let me, I don't know if you can give me an indication if you can see my browser now.
No, just the PowerPoint.
Okay, so new share.
Now I can see it, Lucia.
Okay, thank you. Right, so first of all, this is the home page of Scopus, and you can see that it is optimized for searching. So you can go straight into search. The first thing to notice is on the right, in the right corner, there will be an indication of it's an icon that shows you that you are signed on, and under this sign on information, you will find the personalized functionalities of Cybele. So this is where you will be able to see your dashboard, your saved searches, the alerts that you've created for yourself. Importantly, I want to show this because this is also where you set up your preferences in terms of export, and this is where we make a very strong link with Mendeley, so with your reference manager. So I've clicked on that, and now here I can select what is my preferred way of export, whether it's to Mendeley, RefWorks, or whether I want to use one of these other formats. You can also select which specific fields that you would like to export. So coming back, we can start doing a search. There are 4 types of searches. You can do a document search, author search, affiliation, or an advanced search. I'm going to show you very simply how to do a document search and an author search, and how to find a journal, which is under sources. We will at a later stage do a much more in-depth, comprehensive training session on how to use Scopus. So, but let's just get started. So I will use a very common topic for now. So just typing in the topic that you would like to search, and you can select in which field you would like the search to be conducted. So there's a large variation between article, abstract, keywords, author, etc. Going down, so taking note that there are many options here to select a field. So I'm going to select for this specific search, just to demonstrate, we're going to search for COVID-19 only in the article title. And then I can add keywords as well, and I can say anxiety. There's much talk about this in the media, and here again, then I can select in which field I want to search. I can limit on this screen, but I can also limit on the next screen, so I will show it on the next screen. And this is then where you will search. Before I just press that search button, I want to bring your attention to search tips. So under search tips, you will find guidance about how the most efficient way to use Boolean operators such as and or, and not. You will also find information about other operators that you can use, wildcards, brackets, proximity operators. And these will really help you to make your searching a lot more efficient. Right, go back. Right, so let's search. Right, so next you will then find your results page, and we can see that already just on COVID-19, there are 89 results. At this stage, you can already edit your search results, and in the left-hand panel here, you can search within your results, but there are numerous ways of limiting your search now as well. So really refining, lots of options to refine, selecting the specific subject area, document type, publication stage, the source titles, keywords, institutions, affiliations, and even the sponsors of the research, right? And the countries of origin, the source type, so we only have journals at this stage. It's a very new field, of course, and the language, you can do this a language selection as well. Okay, so what can you do with these search results now is you can decide you want to show all the abstracts, because you would want to look at the abstracts to decide which of these articles are relevant for you. So you can activate that, you can put it on or off. There you go. And you can also sort. So there are many options there to sort. So usually we would want to sort, often, it's my preference, I would like to sort by those publications that have the highest number of citations, but you can also sort by author or by the date of publications. So you use that toggle there. So next, to get that overview, that global overview, the trends of your research topic, you can click on Analyze Search Results. So this is still a very small set of publications because it's such a new topic, but we should still be able to see some trends. Right, so this is first documents per year, which is quite obviously only 2020. And then you can see who are the top sources. Let's first look at the sources. So which journals are publishing the most in this field? Okay, so Psychiatry Research, Asian Journal of Psychiatry, Brain Behavior. So we're looking at COVID-19 and anxiety. So this is a very a quick summary that you can see of which are the most important journals publishing in this field. So going back, you can also look at who are the top authors in the field. You can see which institutions are publishing in the field, the authors we've looked at, the countries, right? So no surprise there. And then also the document type. So you can see most of them are articles, but there are also letters and reviews already, editorials. And then finally, you can also see a subject overview, also of subdisciplines there, and you can see the documents by funding sponsors, so who has funded the research there. And this is very interesting to look at, to get an idea of who is, you know, the possible funders. If you are looking for funders, who are the funders that are working within this field. Right, so this is what the analyzed search results reveal about, you know, the topic that you are researching, and giving it that global overview. Let me just make sure I'm going back to my results. And then on this results page, you would want to look at each of these to make sure. So you can look at the abstracts, but you can also open a publication. So let me see, let's open one, and you can see the details page of each of the publications that you've retrieved. So extensive information is provided here. So all the bibliographic information about the publication, and also as well as the keywords, of course, references about this. Also, it even gives you an indication of the prominence of the topic. So with prominence, we mean that this is a topic of high momentum, and we measure momentum by looking at how quickly this publication has been cited, downloaded, and what is the reputation of the journal in which it has been published. Right. So right at the bottom, if you scroll down, these are all the references of this publication, and right down at the bottom, you would usually see the corresponding author. So, and for the corresponding author, it would usually give a contact address. So for some reason, this is not available on this example I'm showing, so I'll try another one. But to the right-hand side, you will also see metrics about this specific publication. So giving an indication of how many citations and what does those citations mean relative to all the other publications in Scopus. So giving an where 1.0 is the global average, so giving us a really strong indication that this is way above average because of the swiftness that this publication, I would assume, has appeared, and also the level of the journal in which it has, so the reputation of the journal in which it has been published. But more than academic impact measures like citations, it also gives us information about the societal interest in this. So it gives us information here about how many captures there's been, how many readers, how many news mentions that has been shared in social media. This article has been tweeted, and you can go into further details on this as well. So for every journal, if they, we also provide the impact measures for a specific article. So scrolling down, this is really then leading you to other publications that would also be relevant for your study, because these are authors that have cited the one that you're looking at. So they would also have relevancy, and scrolling down, an algorithm is used to identify publications that are similar. So these are related documents that would also be relevant for you to follow. Right. So on each of the retrieved documents, you find on the document details page, you find an extensive information. So going back to the results again. At this stage, you would decide which of these publications you would want to read in full text. So you would select them, and at this stage, you would be able to do any of these functionalities. So you could export this directly into your reference manager, or you can export it to Excel or any other format. You can download these. So if your institution has a subscription for this journal, you would be able to have access to the full text, or if it is open access, like in this case, you would also have access to the full text of the publication. And a few more. So you can see the citation overview. So you can see who are these 23 authors that have cited these papers. You can save this to a list. You can create a bibliography of this list, and print, email, and create a PDF. So lots of utilities are available to work with as well. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Very quick overview of how you would do a topic search within Scopus. And now I want to move over and just show you how would you find journals. So journals you find under sources. So you can click on sources. And there are many ways of working with journals in Scopus. So lots of various ways of finding. I'm going to show you one. So looking at a subject area, for example, so say this is your topic of interest. You want to know, you're working in infectious diseases. You can select infectious diseases as a subdiscipline in order to identify and see what journals do we have in Scopus on the subject area, right? So you can see on infectious diseases, there are 361 journals. The journals are ranked in order of site score. So site score is a representation of the reputation of the journal. And it also gives you information about what is the ranking of the journal within a specific subject area, how many citations has this journal received within a particular year, how many documents did it publish, what is the percentage of the articles in this journal that gets cited. So quite a lot of detailed information about the specific journal. I'm going to click on this journal specifically to show you about the site score, because the site score is what we use to understand what is the reputation of this journal. And the way that we have now to understand what is the reputation of the journal is to look at how many times do articles in that journal get cited. So this particular journal that I clicked on is Clinical Microbiology Reviews, some information about the publisher and so on. And this shows you then how the site score is calculated. So you can see this site score is calculated for 2018, and a new site score is calculated for every year. Here it gives you the citation, the number of citations that were received in a particular year, and it divides it by the number of documents that were published in that journal in the preceding 3 years. This is important because it takes time for a document to be cited, so you can't use the same year of documents and divide it by that year's number of citations. Right. So that basically just gives you an average number of times that articles in that journal has been cited over a 3-year period. So knowing this information and understanding that it's a reflection of the reputation of the journal in terms of number of citations, you can go back and you can compare it with other journals in the same subject area and make an informed decision about what are the, what is the most relevant journal for you to read or to send your manuscript to. So I just want to go back to that page and show you. So when you're looking at the list of journals, the site score here will give you an indication of the reputation of the journal. Right. So there's a lot more that we can do around journals, but it gets very, detailed. So I want to, this is just an introduction to Scopus, so I rather want to share some other features with you as well. And another important feature within Scopus is that it allows you to do a author search. But before I get to the author search, I just remembered I wanted to show you that Scopus also allows you to compare journals. So this is on the homepage is a button to compare journals and on this screen, it will guide you to select a journal. So you can enter a title and you can say, for instance, in this field, you get the Lancet Respiratory Journal. I'd say you've heard about +1. Right. Let me just go back. I didn't select the other one. So. Right. So using the site score, it will compare journals, and you can select up to 10 journals to show what is the comparison between the journals using the site score of the journals. Right. So this gives you information about site score 4.91. This is the +1, which gives you a site. So in 2018, the site score is 2.97, right? So we have other journal metrics as well. So the Scimago journal rank and the source normalized impact per paper allows you to compare journals that are across subject areas, because these journal metrics are normalized. So we'll get back with other webinars to go more deeply into journal metrics. But at this stage, I wanted to share with you, because these are very important features of Scopus to allow you to select high quality journals, be able to compare journals and make an informed decision about which journals are important for you to read and also important for you to consider when you're publishing. Right. So now that author search that I wanted to do. So going back to the home page, you can select author. And I was incidentally looking at, for everybody who has been following CNN, you would know about Dr. Andrew Fauci. So we can see what Dr. Fauci's author profile looks like in Scopus. So Professor Fauci is a very distinguished researcher, but within Scopus, for every researcher that has more than one publication, an author profile is created. Right. So I've typed his name. There's only one Dr. Anthony Fauci. We open his author profile. And important now to remember that the author profile is created automatically. It uses an algorithm to create all of these and aggregate all of these information. So you will see the name, you will see the institutions where he is linked to, you will see all his name variants. And impressively, Dr. Fauci has published more than 1,100 publications, more than 100,000 citations, and he has an H index of 174, which means that of the 1,163 publications that he has authored, 174 of them have been cited at least 174 times. So this is a very high H index. It also has a histogram to show the trend of his publications relative to the citations that he's received, and various other information like his list of documents, all 1,163 documents, all his citations, who cited his publications, all his co-authors, the prominent topics to which he has contributed. The information can be exported, of course, and you are also able to then make changes to your author profile. So if it's necessary to edit the profile, it opens a wizard and you can correct any information that has been incorrectly compiled by the algorithm. Within Scopus, we have also integrated services from ORCID. So you can link from Scopus to ORCID and you can transfer all your publications that have been automatically aggregated within a profile, and you can push it over into your ORCID profile. Right, so this is a very short summary of the author profile. And as I mentioned, this is just an example, but for every researcher that publishes in Scopus, or journals that are indexed in Scopus, we do create an author profile. Right. So finally, I want to, right, so we can do it here, but you can, if you just go, I just want to end off this demonstration by showing you that there's a lot of help and support available while you are using Scopus as well. So in the help, you can ask a question. In the tutorials, you will find little videos that you can use as learning material. In the contact us, there's a chat option, and the chat option is a very good, very dynamic way of communicating with our support team, or you can also send an email. So this brings us to the end of a very short demonstration of how to use Scopus. Right, so I will go back to my slides. I think I
Hi,
need
Lucia.
to...
We've launched a poll as well asking participants if they'd like more intensive Scopus training to be held over webinar. So if they can please submit their answers, where we want to be able to take them through examples on webinar similar to this. And if I could ask you one question at this point, if you could explain to the participants how using the Scopus journal list will help them navigate away from predatory journals, because that question has come up a lot. Would you mind answering that one?
Yes, of course. So the most important way that you use this list is the fact that Scopus is regarded as a whitelist, basically. So these journals have all gone through a very rigorous selection process. It is done firstly by the Scopus team, who look at whether the journals that we index in Scopus, whether they comply with certain criteria. If they do comply, for instance, to various criteria, then it goes to an independent board, which consists of more than 17 editors and academics from across the world, which do an even more rigorous testing of whether the journals that we include in Scopus, whether they really comply with good editing processes. And one of the factors that plays the most important part is that we look at what is the ethics that they will be looking at within the journal. How will they deal with any kind of transgressions? So it is very important for every journal that we index in Scopus that they have an ethical statement, and we look into that. And this process is then repeated annually. So we have a reevaluation that is consistently going on in the background of Scopus to reevaluate journals on a continuing basis to ensure that they still comply with those high standards that we require. So that is the most important, reassurance that you have, that this is a list that is monitored, it is curated, it is reevaluated, and this is very important for us to make sure that for us as Elsevier, it is very important that these journals that we index, that they comply with that standard. So we have a lot of processes in place to ensure that. I hope that gives a summary of reasons why you can trust it and why you can know that these journals, even though we include numerous open access journals, all of the journals are checked to make sure that they have good editing and specifically publishing processes in place.
I think that's perfect. Thanks, Lucia.
Shall I go on to my slides? Is the poll still open?
The poll is done. You can proceed. Thanks.
Okay, so it looks like I need to... All right, is my slide visible?
No, we're still on the Scopus page.
Okay, I'll stop this share and share again. visible now?
Yes, remote access. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I wanted to also share, because so many of us are working from home, to assure you that you can also access Scopus remotely. There are various ways to do so. So firstly, you can do so via your institution's portal. Usually institutions, universities have a federated access system, which allows you to access any of the publishers' informations that they make available. They also have proxy servers, or they have VPNs in place. So via the university's portal, it would usually be possible. If that is not possible, you can also access directly via your browser, where you would go to scopus.com, which would open a page that would look like this, where you can check access. Once you click on check access, identify yourself with your institutional email address, and it will take you through to Scopus then. If you have any problems in doing that, please let us know, or via your librarian as well, because we are also able to give you to make available activation links that will allow you to get access to Scopus. So we're making available these slides as well, and on the slides I've also included a small video which will help you to get access to Scopus remotely. Right. So I also wanted to share with you that we will be having upcoming seminars, webinars in May. There are various, I have not included all of them, but we will be having webinars on the modern research life cycle, avoiding predatory publishing, specifically demystifying research impact. We'll be talking about resources, and tips for planning your research, and much more. These will be presented in English, French, and Arabic.
Lucia, sorry to interrupt. We are seeing it on presenter view. If you stop sharing and when you select share, select only PowerPoint, then we should see the full view.
Okay, so this is stop sharing.
Yeah, select share screen and then select PowerPoint. Still seeing it in presenter view, or you could view this as a full on PowerPoint. Yeah,
Sharing. Are you seeing a different screen? I just want
it's right now.
Right, so I also wanted to bring your attention to new developments, and I also wanted to end, we have come really now to the end of our presentation, and I wanted to really end on a positive note, because the coronavirus has, it's had a devastating effect on humankind, but it has also highlighted many positive things. And for one, the whole world has been united and really in awe of the committed way in which researchers are working together shoulder by shoulder. And in this spirit, we at Elsevier, we've also decided to make available as much resources as we possibly can. And among this is the Elsevier Corona Research Hub. So this week it was launched, and it makes available several of our solutions. It will be available free of charge until the end of October. And I'd really like to invite you to visit this resource hub, and also to share the information with relevant researchers who are doing research on vaccines. So with this, I wanted to, we've come to the end of the presentation. Finally, I would just like to share with you, unless there are any questions that I can answer maybe while we are still on. But if not,
maybe I can answer this one question that keeps coming up. It's the difference between Science Direct and Scopus. Scopus is an abstract and citation database of peer-reviewed literature. It is containing abstracts from 5,000 publishers. Science Direct provides you with full text research articles from Elsevier and our society partners. So Scopus is used to make analysis and also to find peer-reviewed content. And Science Direct is dealing specifically with Elsevier published articles and book content. Lucia, you can proceed. That was a question that was repeatedly asked as well. So you can proceed now.
okay. So I'm going to share my screen again to find. Yes, so unfortunately, it seems like I don't have the code. Maybe Dineshri, if you can share the code. So for the next, what we also need to provide you with now is the code which you would need to go to Researcher Academy to go and claim your certificate. Can we provide this code verbally?
Hello, I'll be sharing my screen and sharing the code just in a minute.
Thank you.
Hi, Lucia. There was also a question I thought was very interesting. Maybe if you can answer that. It was someone was asking about how to increase the visibility and citations of their work. So if you have any tips and recommendations for that?
Yes, the two, there are many ways of doing this. So the two main, if you're talking about academic visibility, the two main ways of increasing visibility of your research is by publishing in high quality journals. The next way of doing that is by co-authoring, and specifically by co-authoring with international authors. So these are ways that have been shown to really increase the visibility of researchers and to increase the citations. What has recently also been an important way of increasing your visibility is to using social media also to make sure that other researchers are aware of the research that has been done, and that the communities which would benefit from your research that they are also informed by news media as well as by social media. So those are some of the ways that I can advise in making sure that your research is visible and that it helps to advance your career. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
I'm sharing my screen now.
Thank you, Khaled.
You should be able to see it now.
Right, would you like to explain to the...
So yeah, the first thing that you would need to do to be able to claim, okay, I'm receiving feedback from Danishri on the code. Let me double check it, please.
Oops, no, I think it's me, sorry. Your code is correct. I copied the wrong code, sorry.
My code is correct.
Code is good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sorry for this. So I'll be sharing screen again. So if you can see my screen now, so you should actually, if you haven't already signed up for researcheracademy.com, you need to sign into researcheracademy.com. You can use the same email and password you use for all Elsevier solutions. So it's the same email and password you would use for Mendeley, for Science Direct, for Scopus, for any other Elsevier solution that you would be using. Once you have signed into researcheracademy.com, you can go over to the link shortened up there, bit.ly/ELS-AFR-Web2. So once you go to this link, you will need to insert the certificate claim code to the right side if you're using your desktop, or to the middle of the screen if you're using your cell phone, and enter the claim code CIEHET. You will need to answer a 30-second survey, which covers questions that you'll have to rate from 1 to 10. If you fully agree, then please select 10. If you fully disagree, then please select 1. And it goes on with gradually from here to there. The last question is a question that asks you on which topics you would like us to cover on our next training. So please share your insight and let us know how we can further help you with more customized trainings. In addition, so it's a text question, so you can insert any text to just get through the question if you don't have any specific idea in mind on or a suggestion for the upcoming trainings. You can also find on this link, the bit.ly/ELS-AFR-Web2, we'll be uploading the presentation. So you can go to this link and directly download the presentation materials in PDF format, and you will also find the guide on how to download your certificates if you're having any issue with that. Usually the presentation takes a little while to upload after the webinar is finished. So I guess that should conclude the certificates part.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Khaled.
Please consult the document with the instructions on how to upload, how to download your certificate. It has a lot of troubleshooting. It will go step by step with all the steps needed to download the certificate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, we have reached the end of the webinar. So thank you very much for joining. And keep safe. Keep your distance, wash your hands, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.